Topping today's news, the Commissioner of Police gives a vivid update in the fight against crime as officers investigate yet another murder, this time a stabbing death. The Minister of Tourism fields questions regarding the sale of the Grand Lucayan Resort. Public schools set to close early on Thursday, and the Bahamas Telecommunications Company, partly owned by the government, gets a new CEO. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Jarino Saunders. This is your JCN Evening News. It's a pleasure to have you join us. Just one day after Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernandez spoke to the media on the Royal Bahamas Police Force crime-fighting initiative to curb crime in the country, investigators are today faced with uncovering the circumstances surrounding the death of a male believed to be in his mid-50s. The victim was found with stab wounds in the Boyd Road area this morning. Here is Police Press Liaison Chief Superintendent Skippings with more on this latest homicide.
It was shortly after 10 a.m. this morning when police were alerted that a male was found sitting at the top of a stairwell with stab wounds to his body. Police responded and confirmed the scene. At present, we do not know the circumstances surrounding this particular incident, but from what the injuries that we observe, we can say that there was a struggle. At this time, I am unable to say who the struggle with, if it was one individual or two people. But as mentioned, from what is observed, there appears to have been a struggle.
The body of the deceased was found at the rear of a light green two-story building on the corner of Boyd Road and Pilgrim Avenue. Police believe the victim was there for approximately 4 hours before they arrived on the scene. As the investigation into this matter is still early, police are unable to say whether the victim was a member of the community. They are not able to give a motive behind this latest killing. However, Chief Superintendent Skippings is appealing to anyone in the area who may have information to come forward.
I take this opportunity to make an appeal to the residents who live in this wonderful community that is always quiet. If you have seen or if you have heard anything earlier today, earlier in the morning, I want to ask you to reach out to your Royal Bahamas Police Force. Any bit of information that you can give us, we will definitely follow those lines of inquiries to see if we're able to bring resolution to this matter in a relatively short period of time.
If you have any information regarding this incident, contact the nearest police station or the Criminal Investigation Department at 328-TIPS. That's 328-8477. Meanwhile, Chief Superintendent Skippings also informing that police have a 14-year-old boy in custody for the stabbing of another 14-year-old boy while in the Fox Hill Road area on Tuesday afternoon. The teen victim is in hospital in critical condition at last report. According to police, the victim, who is a student of Doris Johnson Senior High School, was walking north on Fox Hill Road with a group of male students shortly before 4 p.m. when a male passenger on a public bus stabbed him in the upper body. The victim was taken to the hospital via emergency medical services personnel. Police are investigating, or aggressively investigating, and are once again urging members of the public, especially the nation's youth, to find alternative ways to resolve conflicts, as violence is never the solution. While presenting a weekly crime review to the media on Tuesday with a number of confiscated firearms collected by the police force over the past week on display, Police Commissioner Clayton Fernandez questions why certain individuals are granted bail, allowing them to continue committing crimes. The commissioner is also asking why trials for criminals are not being processed much faster.
Saturated patrols and presence in these hotspots consistently will continue to work for the police. And you could see it played out in this incident. Officers were alert and in that general area picked up the vehicle. There was a chase which ended up right next door in the Fort Finn Castle area. The vehicle was pulled over. 3 individuals was arrested. The culprit, who was shot by his own partner, he was lying in the back seat of that vehicle. During the search, officers found 3 loaded pistols in the vehicle. Those weapons were recovered. The young man who was shot, he was eventually taken to hospital where he is presently detained in ICU in serious condition.
Commissioner Fernando, while expressing frustration, also explains how some people on bail intentionally allow their ankle monitor, which is part of their bail condition, to run out of battery power, which takes them off the monitoring grid and gives them the opportunity to commit crimes. The police commissioner revealed that, to date, 38 people on bail for crimes such as murder, armed robbery, and weapons charges have been further charged for breaching their bail conditions. The commissioner said investigators have also been able to connect some of the individuals with other serious crimes committed while on bail. He suggests those who violate their bail conditions should not be given another chance for bail.
We were looking for a second individual with respect to that matter, and he is presently one of the persons arrested in this incident is connected to that matter. So we are looking at that as well, and expected to bring some charges at a later date. Detectives are very busy on the ground the entire weekend speaking to those individuals. So again, I want to commend the officers for excellent response and good information as well coming from members of the public who would have been in that general area at the same time and saw what was going on. So we want to commend the members of the public and the officers for an excellent work, and they will be commended at a later date with respect to that matter.
As for the police-involved shootings and how the coroner's court plans to deal with such matters, particularly the possibility of introducing a committee made up by the Royal Bahamas Police Force to review such cases, the commissioner says he recently met with the coroner on matters put before the coroner's court, and he shared this much.
All of these weapons now, there's a body to all of them. When I say a body, who was arrested with them? Why should that individual continue to get bail? Swift justice. Within 2 weeks, I see no reason why the trial, either if he's lucky enough to get off, fine. But I see no reason why we can't move swiftly with that. It's only the police and the forensic. That's all. That's 2 to 3 officers. Why should we keep giving these individuals bail? And you're talking about matter drag on for 2 years, 3 years. And within that 2, 3 years, that same individual committing another crime. Come on, man. Something is wrong with that.
When questioned on the murder rate nearing 100 for the year and whether saturation patrols is the only thing the Royal Bahamas Police Force is doing to prevent more crimes, Commissioner Fernando said they have identified prolific offenders who police are paying close attention to. He says the police will not be able to stop all crimes, but they are vowing to finish strong for the year 2022. Meanwhile, saturation patrols continue to yield results as police officers were able to apprehend culprits responsible for the latest shooting in the country, which happened on Dunmore Street in Baintown, where 3 men exited a Japanese vehicle and opened fire on a group of males sitting on a porch, resulting in one of them being shot in the arm, while one of the culprits shot his co-conspirator in the chest. This much according to Police Commissioner Clayton Fernando while speaking to reporters on Tuesday.
The monitoring company is working for us. We just have to pay attention to it. It's working for us, and that's why you see those individuals who breach their curfew. Some of them have curfew where at 6 p.m. in the evening, you should be in your home. And then we find some of them after 6 p.m. involved in crime. Something wrong with that. And that's why we are paying so much attention to that. What more to justify the reason why he or she can't stay behind bars? What more do you need? If you let your battery go dead and go there and commit crime, you think that individual should be given a second chance to do it again? No, man.
Commissioner Fernanda further revealed that officers were able to collect evidence from the suspect's vehicle in connection to another shooting where a 4-year-old was killed in the same Dunmore Street area.
We are putting in a better structure and the way we move forward. There's a lot of things on the table that we are discussing to move forward with those matters. But you will see some great things, and I know Madam Coroner will speak to that at a later date.
When you say new structure, can you maybe elaborate a bit more?
When I say structure, the way we move with our matters to try to speed up the situations, the matters put before the court. Matters are put before the coroner. The police force to investigate. It's passed on to the coroner, and she have a team that investigate the matters. We don't investigate the matters. It's handed over. Any police involved shooting is handed over to the coroner, and there's a team she has identified to assist with follow-up inquiries.
According to the Commissioner of Police, Dunmore Street is a hotspot for criminal activity, which will be the main focus of saturation patrols, as well as other identified hotspot areas of criminal activity, such as Camp Road, where 3 of the 8 firearms confiscated by police this past week were found: Nassau Village, Pinewood Gardens, Yellow Elder, and Mount Moriah. And finally, in this segment, by saying more on the ongoing negotiations between the government and Electra America on the purchase of the Grand Lucayan Resort on Grand Bahama is not in the best interest of the Bahamian people. This according to Acting Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Mr. Chester Cooper. Electra America Hospitality Group has been given an extension to its due diligence period following its agreement in May to purchase the resort for $100 million from the government. Mr. Cooper explaining to reporters on Tuesday the intricacies of the due diligence process.
Say as much as I can, as candidly as I can, but please appreciate that this matter is under contract. The resort is under contract, and this is what we call a due diligence period. During the due diligence period, the buyer would go and do studies and investigations, ask questions, and come back and seek to negotiate based on the information they find, the results of their studies, etc.
Last week, Lucayan Renewal Holdings Limited, a special purpose vehicle created to oversee the sale and management of the resort operations, announced that it agreed to extend Electra's due diligence period by 7 days. On Monday, the official opposition Free National Movement called on the acting prime minister to deliver on the government's promise to complete the hotel deal, noting that in May, it was proudly announced by the government the sale of the resort within a 60-day closing period, but now it is on its 3rd extension. Mr. Cooper responded with this.
We have extended the due diligence period by 7 days. That ends sometime next week. At that point, we will be able to say more. Appreciate that it's active negotiation, active discussions, and therefore it's not in the best interest of the Bahamian people to discuss that publicly at this point.
The F&M contends the decision to extend the closing of the deal for the Grand Lucayan is both troubling and disheartening to residents of Grand Bahama, further contending that the entire nation is worried that the government will not deliver as promised. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back after these commercials.
Kids, let's go! Sean, what are you doing?
I solved it. We'll buy our life insurance policy from this company and then go over here and get our home insurance. Then get our motor policy from right over here.
Or we could just get it all with CG Atlantic. Save a lot of money and effort.
They do it all? Even pensions?
Even pensions.
We're like a husband that doesn't overcomplicate everything. CG Atlantic. Good like that.
Mala Marine and Generac have the standby generator that fits your needs. Conserve power by using only 1 or 2 circuits during an outage with our 7.5 kilowatt. Or manage your power usage with our 10 to 16 kilowatt standby. But why only power part of the house? Get whole house protection with our 20 kilowatt Generac standby and never lose power again. Give us a call at 393-7873 and get the right unit for you. Mala Marine, giving you power on land and sea.
Now I know I've said it before, but this time, I swear it's different. Grammy dreamed about this number, so I won't lose. I can't lose. This is my last time. Please, son, Just give me one more chance. I'll give it all back to you.
Excessive gaming affects more than just the gamer. This message has been brought to you by the Gaming Board for the Bahamas, which encourages you to game responsibly.